Today, we are going to be doing an episode that's, I think, going to be a lot of fun. And, we're just going to be kind of hanging out and talking about a comedy. But it feels weird to go into something like this without acknowledging the fact that our country's descent into fascism is apparently accelerating. What I just wanted to say is, as bad as things are now, it does not guarantee that things will continue to be this way. Everything that we've said about the importance of organizing with people in your neighborhood continues to be the case. I've been so inspired just by seeing all of the things that have been coming out of Minneapolis, all of the work that's being done on the ground by organizers. And it is only through that kind of on the ground organizing and effort that we are ever going to have a chance at being free. That's really all I have to say. Let's start the show.
So many possible worlds, but we got this one. So many possible worlds, but we got this one.
Welcome to the worst of all possible worlds, the first and only podcast to pull an old switcheroo.
Ooh.
I am the worst of all possible AJs.
I'm the worst of all possible Brians.
And I'm the worst of all possible Joshes. Now, this week, we have a returning guest, a returning champion here on our show.
Hello.
Hello. He is the co-host of Well, There's Your Problem, which is a podcast about engineering disasters with slides. Earlier today, I witnessed him ponder a cube, and he also took the train all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, to be with us today.
Yeah, to the city of sisterly hate.
That's
New York.
right.
Yes.
a
But
lot of shaking of fists.
Justin Roczniak, welcome back to the show.
Hello, I'm the worst of all possible Rozes.
Let's go.
Let's go! Hey, a question for you, Roz. Did you walk here in a straight line?
No, I took the train.
Nice.
But once you got off the train, was it just a straight shot to this studio?
Yeah, I mean, all the streets here are in a straight line, so yeah.
Was everyone on the train dressed in some sort of ridiculous costume, some of whom were then playing characters in costume?
Unfortunately, no. They seem to have discontinued the
Got it.
Amtrak dance floor car.
Was anyone on the train in blackface?
Was and no. Not
Okay.
that well, maybe it was really good blackface. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Is this the Mummers line?
In case you're wondering why we're starting off a podcast talking about this, we are today going to be discussing
The Jazz Singer, 1928
No,
talking
finally!
picture starring Al Jolson,
No.
our friend and yours.
We're talking about 1983's.
Oh, that's really late.
It's a little late.
That's very late to be doing minstrelsy. But they did it in 1983's Trading Places.
And Roz, you pitched me on coming on the show to talk about it. So I'm
Yeah.
curious. First of all, defend your decision.
Defend my decision.
Yeah.
I like the movie.
Yeah.
Let's hear more.
I like them. It's a great Philadelphia movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was
And
gonna ask about that,
as a Philadelphian, of course, I'm obsessed with Philadelphia. That's one of the unhealthy things we do in the city.
Well, and how many Philadelphia movies do you really get? It's like this and the Rocky series.
Every M. Night Shyamalan film.
Oh, that's true.
And very famously, a movie called Philadelphia.
Well, yeah, that's
Never heard of
actually
it.
that's a good point.
Well, in 1776. Okay, you guys get quite a few movies.
Like, there's so many.
Yeah.
All the Rockies.
But Roz, this is an unusual film too, right? This is like a 1983 comedy
Yeah,
that makes some big swings, and some of them work out very well, and some of them certainly do not.
Some of them definitely missed the mark. They are not politically correct. Let's say.
That's one way of putting it.
No. Yeah, no.
I mean, this is it's very much of its time.
Yeah.
I think my interpretation of the movie so far, it's just like it is a movie where things work. When they work well.
Yeah.
And when they don't, you're like, this is the most 80s film I've ever seen, perhaps in my life. And one of the big reasons for that is because it was directed by John Landis.
Maybe the most 80s director of all time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy who, good director.
Yeah.
Great person. Better father.
Yeah, I think probably the best. What's incredible about him is that the worst thing that he's ever done isn't killing some people, it's having a son.
Yeah.
It's giving life. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing he ever did was killing Vic Morrow and two immigrant children on the set of the
Yes,
Twilight
that is
Zone.
that is very bad. That is very bad.
That is, in fact, the worst thing that he has ever done.
Yeah.
And that most people could ever really aspire to.
Yeah, that's certainly up there. And I think that this
Not that
is
they
this
would
is,
aspire
this
to it,
is
just that they
pre
could.
that. This is actually right before,
Right before.
the Twilight Zone movie is filmed. This is
Yeah.
1983. He had just come off of doing, I believe, An American Werewolf in London was the movie he did right before this. And obviously he made a start with like his first big hit was Kentucky Fried Movie.
Right. Another movie that I defend in some ways that I fully acknowledge has its issues.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing is I like a lot of John Landis movies. I like The Blues Brothers. I think those are some of the best car chases ever on film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I love Clue. I think Clue is like one of the most
Yeah.
perfect comedies you could make.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I despise Animal House.
And
Oh, okay.
I loved
Yeah,
Trading
yeah.
Places as a kid, but maybe it was just because I saw it so many times.
Yeah.
I watched it through this time, and it just didn't quite work for me.
Okay.
I don't know. And I also really liked Coming to America as a kid.
Yeah, and I think of one of the things that's so great about it is the fact that it has this very young Eddie Murphy. in it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think this is one of his earliest big roles.
Mhm.
You know, it's and he's very, very good at it. You know, and one of the reasons that I like this film is, you know, just I didn't start watching this until my friend June was like, "We should watch this film."
Okay.
And then it was like, "Oh, now we watch it like 3 or 4 times a season."
Shout out to
Oh,
June,
wow.
by the way.
Shout out to-
June also was pondering the cube earlier
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
This is a movie that it's like My Cousin Vinny. It was just on TV
All
Yeah.
the time.
all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah, yeah.
all the time, especially around the holidays.
And also, like My Cousin Vinny, beloved of a certain type of professional, namely
Yes.
commodities and other day traders.
Oh my
so the
god.
worst people alive.
Yes. Pretty much.
there is like one of the co-writers of this movie, a guy named Herschel Weingrod. He wrote a letter to a podcast saying how grateful he was that they covered it because it was a financial podcast that came at it from this angle of here I'm going to explain everything that happens in the
Right.
last like 10 minutes of
Yeah,
the
because
film.
Lord knows I don't know.
Yeah,
what the
I'll-
fuck's
I'll-
going on.
I think I kind of figured it out, but
It's definitely like the end of the film is something that unless you already know what's going on, you just miss it.
Yeah.
yeah. Roz, how many viewings of this did it take for you to fully understand the ending of this movie?
I still don't fully understand it.
Great.
They made a bet against whatever the commodities numbers were. I know that much. I don't know
Yes.
precisely what the bet was.
And to be clear, like the two writers behind the movie were very much like, it doesn't matter if the audience fully understands what's happening at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
As long as they are invested in their emotional journeys, it won't matter.
Yeah, this movie is
Yes.
part of a resurgence of a type of screwball comedy like we
Yeah.
had in the 30s and 40s. Even getting, as the two old men, guys who had been in the old screwball comedies like His Girl Friday.
Oh, had they been partnered in those before?
Not,
or
I'm sure they probably crossed over a couple times, but no, they were not like a team.
okay.
It's not like Al Franken and what's his name towards the end of
Right,
this movie.
right.
Well, in fact, Don Amici, who is the man who says the N-word,
The more racist one, yes.
the more
racist
racist of the two, he actually had not worked in 10 years.
Yeah.
Up
Wow.
until this point. And Landis called him on the phone and he was like, "Why hadn't you worked in 10 years?" Like, well, nobody called.
That's what happened to so many of these guys. I mean, look at like Jimmy Stewart. He was around until the 90s and his career just totally fucking dried up.
I do love that Jimmy Stewart's last lines in cinema were done for Five Goes West. Like that was the last one. And
Sort of like how Anne Bancroft's last movie was Delgo.
that's not the one where Jon Stewart plays in Creepy Iceman.
No,
is it?
that's a French movie where that's Dougal.
That's Dougal.
Oh,
Totally different
I
from
can
Delgo.
understand how you got that confused.
yeah.
And that
I'm
was
so
like a
sorry.
European movie that got a joke dub in the US. And what I was surprised by, going back to Trading Places,
Yeah.
I thought that this was a Francis Weber movie because
Oh,
that's
sure.
the guy who did La Cage aux Folles, The Birdcage. Dinner for Schmucks is like there's so the toy with Richard Pryor, and this feels like one of those.
But it's got the visual style of a Landis movie.
Oh, it
And
certainly does.
Absolutely. And
That's-
a
I
lot
mean-
of his impulses, too.
I think that a lot of, at least what I'm going to be interested in talking about regarding this movie is some of those shots. This movie originally was not going to be Aykroyd and Murphy.
No, absolutely not. It was originally Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor
Yeah.
were going to
Yes.
be the two. And Richard Pryor, the only reason they didn't go forward with him was because he lit himself on fire after doing a shit ton of cocaine.
Yeah.
And had burned himself pretty badly. And so the studio was like, that seems like a liability.
Right.
What are we going to do about this?
Well, this was a rough time for Richard Pryor because he also did, as I mentioned before, The Toy. him and Jackie Gleason. That's
Right.
not a very good movie. And then he was doing like Superman 3.
Yeah, and it's also it's like this was just kind of a rough time to be a comedy star in America, the early 80s especially because like John Belushi was going to be the guy for like the next 20, 30 years,
Yeah.
right? And then he dies so unexpectedly.
Wait, wasn't that Jim? Wasn't Jim the one who died?
So here's the thing.
Okay.
I was gonna do. Oh my God. Okay, Roz, don't help them.
Yeah.
I was going to do this as a joke later in the episode because Jim Belushi shows up at the end of
I'm
this
sorry,
movie.
James Belushi.
Stop talking. It is my turn. Because Jim Belushi shows up towards the end of this movie, and I was going to quiz you guys just a little bit. Just
Yeah.
three little,
Okay, let's hear
three
it.
little things.
Hit me.
Was I lying to you when I said Jim Belushi is in this movie? Is he the Belushi in this movie?
Technically, yes.
I don't remember.
That's not how he's credited, but yes.
Okay, so Josh
I thought it was
is
John.
not sure.
I genuinely thought it was.
Even though you see his name at the beginning of the movie.
Isn't it John?
It is James,
It says
aka
James Belushi.
Jim. Okay, so that's question one.
Okay.
AJ, you still get a 0 because you gave a little shitty answer.
What do you mean I gave a shitty
Mouthing off
answer?
to teacher
I
means you
see.
get a bad grade.
Okay.
Demerits for AJ.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so that's a 0 for both of you on question
Okay.
one.
I am the problem.
Question two.
Yes,
Now that we've established which Belushi was in this film,
which is Jim,
what was the name of his hit television sitcom?
according to Jim, right?
AJ, do you agree?
No, I did. I know it's according to Jim, but
Okay,
in my head,
okay.
I will say
No,
my
you both
first
get a point. You both get a
my
point.
first initial response was 10 rules for dating my teenage daughter.
First of all, it's eight simple rules.
Simple rules. And this brings us to our next question.
Actually,
Because, of course,
according to James.
Thank you.
Because 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter is a show that is famous
Right.
Yes.
for having John Ritter in the lead because
John
he
Belushi.
died. Ritter, because he died on set, not from drug abuse, but from a congenital heart defect.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yes.
Right. So we're in agreement about what, and then he was replaced by whom? David Spade. You didn't need to know that. No one needs to know
Is that
that.
extra
No.
credit? Do we get?
No, because you didn't answer. First of all,
What do I get for this?
so question 3.
Okay.
Given
Yeah.
that you already know one show that Jim Belushi was not the lead on,
Yes.
tell me all of the sitcoms that Jim Belushi was not the lead on, starting from the beginning.
From the beginning, the first situation
All of them that
comedy
he was not the lead on?
Yes.
Honeymooners?
Yes.
The Honeymooners, yeah.
Hey!
Okay, we've got one.
The Brady Bunch?
Correct.
I Love Lucy.
Right.
Correct.
Yes, that's a good one.
Everybody Loves Raymond?
Yeah.
Correct.
Dick Van Dyke Show.
Nope,
Yeah.
that was Jim Belushi.
Common
So,
mistake.
yes.
Common mistake.
John Belushi
Yes.
died.
Right.
Yes.
Jim Belushi, gorilla.
I swear to God, I will never get this straight. I can promise you that.
So John Landis
Yes.
at this
Jim
time,
Landis.
Jim Landis.
James
Landis at this time had not watched SNL since John Belushi passed because
Okay.
they worked together on Animal House. He was a little bit
Neither have I.
heartbroken. Since he
I have
died?
also not watched SNL since John Belushi died.
Wow,
Really?
Yeah, I don't watch SNL. I think it's a bad show.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not that good.
It's
I don't-
not.
I think
but-
it's not funny.
But sometimes,
There are
every
moments.
once in a while, it is.
Yeah,
that's
but
the
I don't
thing.
have to watch the show to get those. Those
Right.
show up on the
Yeah,
internet.
exactly.
And
But
But
usually
there's
they're
something,
also
but there's something
bad.
about seeing it as the cohesive whole that does make it more than the sum of its parts, to me at least. But
You have to stay up so late for it.
You
Though.
do.
It's annoying.
that is true. I'm a sleepy guy.
Yeah.
I think it's weird to do a show that's an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
No, it should be at least 2.
Or 3,
Or
ideally.
3 ideally, yeah.
What is it? The worst of all possible worlds?
What is it? Well, there's your problem.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
I like that we're all just pointing at each other right now.
It's like a Mexican standoff.
Who's
What
gonna
is
have the
it?
shorter episode?
Ill-conceived, which isn't as long as
No.
our show.
That is actually an SNL length. So John Landis
Yeah.
has not watched SNL since Belushi died, so has missed out on this new up-and-comer named Eddie Murphy.
Sure.
They send him the tapes for it because the studio is like, okay, we don't know how he's going to transition into being an actor. They're watching like the first cuts of 48 Hours, which was like Murphy's like first big
Yeah.
role,
Yeah.
and they're like, we don't really like this, but they screen it for test audiences and they go nuts
Yeah.
for it.
It also should be noted here, Aykroyd and Murphy just missed each other on SNL.
Oh yeah.
Aykroyd left in 79 to make Blues Brothers.
Yes.
And then Murphy came on board in 80. They missed each other by a season.
And
Yeah.
this is, I mean, you think about like Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, they're both kind of on the downward slope at this
Yeah.
point in
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
right?
Blazing Saddles is a decade ago at this point.
Like, that's the thing is, like, I think of Gene Wilder, I think of the 60s and 70s as
Right.
being kind of
Right.
his peak. And it would have been a little weird to see Wilder and Pryor together in this film.
I mean,
Just because it's so 80s.
But
and,
I-
like, you can't get more 80s than Aykroyd and Murphy.
But I
you
feel
know?
like part of why they probably wanted to cast it this way was to see what it would look like if you could have achieved the original idea of Blazing Saddles, because that was supposed to be Richard Pryor in the Cleavon Little role, and it didn't end up working out that way.
Yeah.
And Cleavon Little, by the way, I think much better in that role than Pryor would have been.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
so, too.
Some of the greatest line readings, I think, in cinematic
But
history.
also, Richard Pryor did another one of these screwball movies because he did the remake of Brewster's Millions.
That's
which
right.
is another movie I saw all the time when I was
Which
a
is
kid on
also
TV.
written by these two guys.
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly.
Who wrote Trading Places?
Yeah.
Are you a Brewster's Millions enthusiast?
You know, I've never seen it.
Okay.
I want to just because there's a baseball field with a train that goes through it.
Yes. Yes. No, it's really fun. I politically, I can't stand by it because it tells people not to vote.
I see. Brian's a vote hard kind of guy.
That's how we're going to get out of the mess we're in right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just gotta
vote
vote
early,
harder.
Exactly.
Yeah,
vote early, vote often,
Yeah.
stuff those ballots. Find
That's
every
right.
dead relative you've got in Tammany Hall them into the ballot box.
You know what? I'm just going to say it. If I could vote right now, I would.
And that's why Aaron Sorkin hired you.
Yeah, baby! Aykroyd at this point, the studio has no idea what to do with him either,
No,
right?
because he's such a star, but he has the weirdest sensibilities, and he likes to kind of do his own projects.
And
right?
also, he had done a movie the year before called Dr. Detroit, which, have you seen Dr. Detroit?
I have
Ross?
not seen Dr.
I've never
I don't-
heard of this.
Yeah, it was a huge box office failure,
Okay.
right? And so everybody is like, I don't know if we're gonna like take this chance on Aykroyd, and it's really Landis who comes up and is like, look, he can do it. He
Yeah.
can do this role. And
Wow, what a good guy.
Yeah, goes to the mat for him. Yeah, I'm not going to look up any of his future stuff. Seems like a really stand-up fella.
Says here he likes using live ammunition on set.
Don't.
I'd avoid that.
Part of the reason that
I would say that's a problem.
Yeah, well, there's your problem.
And so Landis flies to New York to meet up with Eddie Murphy. They have lunch together after, and I think Landis has watched a couple of his like sketches from SNL, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I can work with this. They hire him on. Finally, like the final piece of this puzzle comes in Jamie Lee Curtis, right?
Yes.
Who is very young at this point and is considered a scream queen.
she'd done Halloween, right?
and Halloween too.
okay, that's what I thought.
yeah, and
Yeah, and she's also Hollywood royalty as well, right? She's
Of
Tony
course.
Curtis's daughter.
Right.
yes,
You know.
yes, and the studio did not want her in this movie.
Really?
Studios are so funny.
They're so well because they're like, well, she does horror. That's not really our thing.
Oh, right. Because an actor can only do one thing ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The way that Landis got Curtis on board for this and also Aykroyd was he was like, we will just pay them significantly less than their asking price.
Oh.
So Curtis only gets paid $70,000 for this
What?
movie.
Wow.
She had been paid a couple years before for Halloween 2 $1 million. And again, we're talking 80s money. So
Right.
this is for judging for
And
inflation.
honestly, even considering like the 80s, $1 million was probably less than she could have commanded.
Oh,
at that
absolutely.
point.
Because of the hit that Halloween ended up being.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and for God's sake, I would at least try to load a little bit in the nudity writer, you know?
Yeah, right?
Speaking of
Yeah.
someone who only got paid a few $100s to put his dick out in a feature film.
Buddy, I'd do that shit for free.
And I don't know about anything. I don't know anything
Yeah,
about
but
him.
I'm not packing what she's packing.
you're damn right about that.
And I don't I don't know what happened on like back end for any of these deals.
Yeah.
Maybe she got a little bit more. But let's get to the writers now. The writers
Okay.
of this thing. This is Timothy Harris and Herschel Weingrod. They are the writing duo behind Twins with the Dan DeVito,
Another
Arnold
movie I
Schwarzenegger
saw
picture.
a ton of times on TV.
Kindergarten Cop, which is the one I saw.
Another one that I
shit
saw a
ton of.
million times on TV.
And
Here's the thing. It might have been a tumor.
It's
We
not.
don't know. We don't know what happened to the Kindergarten Cop like a year later. He could have just
We do
dropped
because
dead.
they made Kindergarten Cop too.
Yeah, it doesn't star him.
I know.
It's a different guy.
It is a different guy.
That's a different cop at a different kindergarten.
So it was a tumor. That's why they got a new
They
kindergarten
don't even
cop.
have a weasel in that
Roz,
kindergarten.
you look like you want to weigh in on the kindergarten cop
I
debate.
don't know. I never seen this movie.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm just confused.
Okay,
I
so
just wanted
what
to
if-
give you space, just in case.
Okay,
I'm holding space for you.
We're going to pitch this to you.
Hold
We're
on.
gonna pitch this to you.
What if a cop?
Okay,
What if a cop went to a kindergarten?
I'm listening.
Bad things are happening with that right now.
Okay. That's a very good point, but I bet I could still sell you on this lighthearted comedy. What
yes.
if the kids in this kindergarten, these kindergarten age kids,
Sure.
just talk about sex the whole time?
Interesting.
Why would
Yeah.
the kindergarten age kids be talking about sex?
Because it's funny.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
a funny haha.
Now, here's my question,
Oh.
right? Could we just reposition this as police training, perhaps?
You think the kindergartners need more training
I
so that
think-
they'll stop
I
talking
think-
about sex on
I
the
think
job?
everybody needs more training, and that's
Yeah.
going to get us out of the doozy that we're in right now.
I
Yeah.
think so.
And what I'm going to say is Akagab.
All kindergarten cops are bastards?
Yes.
Oh.
They are also the two writers, and this is true behind, I'm sorry, what's this small film called Space Jam?
Okay.
No.
Everybody got up. It was
Okay,
time to slam now.
so these are guys who wrote kind of one good movie.
Is that
Yes.
wait, which one?
yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the
estimation.
one we watched for this episode.
I think there are parts of Kindergarten Cop that are very charming. I think
Like all the
Schwarz-
sex jokes told by
No,
the
no,
five-year-olds?
those are awful. I hate all of those. But Schwarzenegger bonding with those kids, it melts my heart. You know, he I don't know. It's a nice movie.
Well, join us next week when we talk about classic hits from the 90s, such as Twins, Kindergarten Cop, and Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Oh no, never. Probably that one at some point. So, Herschel Weingrod, it should be mentioned, also produced Falling Down.
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, thank
It
you,
all
Ross, for
connects.
bringing unity to
I was
all
about
these
to-
episodes.
you need some continuity all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
All the time. This is a film not based on The Prince and the Pauper, at least directly, even though it
No, it's kind of
it doesn't really feel that way once you watch it.
It's sort of. It's
either.
also
Yeah.
kind of the Book of Job a little bit too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you've ever seen the movie My Man Godfrey, that's only half of the premise, but like that's a little bit of it. But like, yeah, I can't think of another movie that quite does this total flip of two people's lives
Yeah.
in this way. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's a fun
It's
premise.
kind of
Yeah.
a Dickensian story. You know?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
very much, one of these timeless archetypes. You know, another thing, it reminds me of Mark Twain's short story, The $1 million pound banknote.
Oh, I haven't read that.
Oh,
which is,
yeah. They talked about that as an inspiration, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
What happens in that one?
Oh, two brothers make a bet that a pauper could receive $1 million banknote, and either they would die because they can't make change for it, or they'd be the talk of the town.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
So they
ends up
do
happening
that.
in that one?
Oh, they're the talk of the town.
All right.
And then, because it's Mark Twain, a bunch of people say the N-word.
Well, another thing that has in common with this
Trading
movie.
places.
Absolutely. So, Harris, Timothy Harris, one of the co-writers, he plays tennis with these two old men who were brothers.
Okay.
And they were doctors.
And they were constantly being serenaded by like the Yale a cappella club.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But they would play on like very
The
cheap...
Whiffin' Poofs? Is
The
that
Whiffin' Poofs. That's
Whiffin'
Yale.
Poofs.
That's Yale?
Yeah.
Okay. I said Yale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. We're
we
all
go.
in agreement.
Way to go, Gabe. We did it. I know you didn't go to UPenn, but I'm sure you spent some time around UPenn people in Philly.
Yes.
Are they as obnoxious about that fucking acapella shit at Penn?
It depends.
Okay.
I mean, I think if you're in the acapella, then that's,
Yeah.
you're that obnoxious.
Right.
What is the UPenn Whiffin' Poof group?
I don't know.
Do you ever hear them
I
on
went
the
to
wind?
Drexel. We didn't have time for that shit.
Do you ever hear
It's
them
time
on
for
the wind?
whiffing or poofing.
No.
No.
What did you ask?
I asked, do you ever hear them on the wind?
Yeah, and so no, I live close enough to the university that I would, but no, I don't.
I know that bass harmony anyway.
in that case, they'd be called the Windenpoons.
Wind and what?
Yeah, the Windenpoons.
Explain the second part of this for me.
Well, because you'd change the F to an Nd. Windenpoond.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you guys are just not thinking on my level
No,
here.
I'm not.
I'm doing things with the language that you
I
could
thought
never
they were-
imagine. I'm the Johann Nestroy of this podcast.
I thought they were singing so well they were getting a ton of strange.
That was my thought, too.
Well, that's why they're called that.
Right. Yeah.
More like
It's not like
winded
the name
poons,
came-
because this is exhausting.
Let's go!
It's called queefing. So he has these two brothers that he plays tennis with, right? And they are apparently just the worst people he's ever met in his life. They're incredibly cheap.
Well, yeah, they're playing tennis.
Yes. Yeah, but also on like cheaper courts. Like they aren't like going to like the country clubs or whatever. They're trying to save their money wherever they can. And he goes home and he's like, God, I really hate playing with them. I want to make them the villain in my next story.
Sure.
So he calls up Weingrod and is like, I have this idea for these two assholes who are constantly making bets. What if they did this thing where they like traded two people's lives, where they did a trading places? And Weingrod, for his part, offers, I'm just going to say it, the least insight into his writing process of anyone we have ever researched for this podcast.
Okay.
And Roz, I was wondering if you could read the one quote I could find from him on his writing process.
The truth is, the only way that the screenplay can really be judged by definition isn't on the page. It's by watching the film that was made from it. It can certainly be read and enjoyed, but the inescapable fact is that it was written in order to be seen.
It's like, Vanity Fair does those like YouTube videos where they get a director to like do a little thing about one of the scenes in their hit movie and they circle stuff like John Madden.
Yeah.
They did one with Todd Phillips to talk about Todd Phillips' Joker one. And they're doing the opening scene of Todd Phillips' Joker one.
Folle un.
Yeah, that's right.
That's damn right.
Sort of fall into a sort of automatic writing trance.
and he's introducing what he's going to talk about. And he says, yeah, I think a lot of times the first scene of the movie is kind of how you set the tone.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, you know what, man?
Sometimes.
You're not
100%.
wrong, I guess.
This is like interviewing an athlete after the game.
Yes. That is kind of what this
Or
feels
the coach at halftime where the team's down and it's like, what do you think happened out there, coach? And he'll be like, well, they got more touchdowns than we did.
They
What can I
played
say?
hard. They played hard. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, we got a regular Cormac McCarthy here.
Got
It's
him.
just like, I don't want to talk about my process. Did you like the fucking movie?
Exactly. So Harris talks about why they said it in Philly. He said, quote, it has a connection with the founding of the country, the Constitution, everybody being entitled to the pursuit of happiness, all the idealism that's built into America.
Sure.
And then immediately juxtaposed with a man begging on the street.
Right. Yeah. But I will say, I mean, Roz, this is one of the things that does interest you about this movie, right? Is how intentional it is about Philadelphia specifically.
It really feels like Philadelphia. Because obviously it's set in Philadelphia. It has all these, visible buildings and landmarks around Rittenhouse Square.
Right.
The people feel like they're, well, not from Philadelphia. They're all horrible mainline scum. This sort of mainline in the sense they're on the Pennsylvania Railroad main line, but mainline in the sense of mainline Protestantism too.
Yeah.
The horrible
Wasps.
ice chewing wasps.
Right.
They're all sort of the miserable high society freaks. It's great. I love it. It feels real. It feels like, if you are walking among some of the higher echelons of society in Philadelphia, you run into these people.
Well, and again, to the point of Landis, like, I feel like this is a quintessentially and genuinely Philadelphia movie in the same way that Blues Brothers is a quintessential Chicago movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we open the movie, you could have done the easy thing of just showing the very rich and the very poor going about their lives.
Yes.
And this does do that, but it also does a whole bunch of other things. You see the fish market get set up. You
Yes.
see the Salvation Army. You see like every level of class. You see middle class people. You see working people. You see people on the street. And then you see this one guy with his fucking butler living the reality from being there.
Yeah.
You see areas all over the city as well.
Yeah. You see all the statues, including the Rocky statue, which feels very pointed.
Yeah.
You see Lancaster Avenue. You see there was one bit that we took a long time yesterday trying to figure out where it was. It was Spring Garden Street Bridge right by the 76 intersection with the Tropicana train going over on the overpass. There's a good variety of areas of the city. You really see that this movie is, it feels like Philadelphia because it is Philadelphia. They take some effort to go shoot on location.
Yeah. And it's also a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Right? In a
Yes.
way that I never knew that about this movie. How accurately does it depict Christmas in Philly, would you say?
I've only spent Christmas in Philly once, and it was very nice. So I think it is pretty accurate. I can't
There was
say
this drunk Santa.
I can't say I ever
two drunk
two
Santas,
drunk
right?
Santas.
Does
yeah.
Philly just have its own SantaCon that lasts all month?
I can't say I've ever seen anyone with a pocket salmon. But,
Yet.
yeah.
Oh
I
god, the
wasn't.
part where he pulls the little like slice of beef out instead of the
Yeah.
gun
So good.
has just stuck in my head my
Yeah.
entire life.
Oh, of course.
I think
of
when I
course.
was 3, I just thought that was the funniest thing ever.
I think also part of why it opens in the way that it does is, the establishing shots set the tone, of course, but it also gives us the opportunity to be like, oh, what's everybody's life like?
Yeah.
Which means that when we then see Dan Aykroyd's character, this man named Winthorpe,
yeah.
Great name.
and he's in this fucking gigantic bed being waited on by his butler, it's like, oh, this guy is the 1% at least.
A nice Philly cream cheese there in
Yeah,
the foreground by
yeah.
a little product placement.
Which is actually from New York.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's named for Philadelphia, New York.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I found out recently that Arizona iced tea is from Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah.
God. The Rizzler has his own flavor now.
Of Arizona iced tea?
He sure
Yeah.
does.
Wow.
Love that.
I
And
should've
it
brought
only
some
costs
today.
1 boom.
That's cheap.
In this
You know?
economy? Not even a big boom, or does it have to be a big boom?
I guess it's 99 small booms technically plus sales tax.
Look, if you want to go over the river Styx, you do have to put 2 booms over your eyes, I think, in order to pay the ferryman.
Is that boom is a sound though?
So many possible
Hey there, you are listening to a preview of a premium episode of The Worst of All Possible Worlds. If you'd like to listen to the rest of this, head on over to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/worstofall. And you can listen to not only the rest of this episode, but our entire backlog of premium episodes, bonus episodes, and if you subscribe at the $10 tier, you will get an extra episode of the podcast every single month. Again, that is patreon.com/worstofall. Hope to see you there.